Number 1, what was the most significant event in your life? I drew Mickey Mouse ears. The most significant event in my 14 years of life was that one time I went to Disney World when I was 11 years old. The seed was planted early, friends. I love Disney. Number 2, draw your happiest moment in the past year. I drew a piece of paper with the words math test on it and a 100 written in red at the top. The happiest moment of 8th grade was making a perfect score on a pre-algebra test. Math was difficult for me in general, and it became a sensitive topic in my world. I strongly believe the hours I spent trying to learn the area of a triangular prism contributed to the love and dedication I have for the characters on The Big Bang Theory. Number 3, indicate something at which you are good. I was good at holding purple pom-poms. I absolutely loved being on the cheerleading squad, but I'd like to point out that a flawless math test trumped making cheerleader as my happiest moment that year. Number 4, what is something you're striving to become or be? Without a doubt, young Lincee was striving to one day make the Hallsville Bobcat Bell drill team. No contest. Number 5, if you had 1 year to live and were guaranteed success in whatever you attempted, what would you attempt? First of all, that's a little morbid. Don't you agree, Miss Smith? And second, I'm not making this up. I drew a scale with the arrow pointing to 90 pounds. I surrounded the scale with Dr. Pepper bottles and Hershey chocolate bars and wrote, I would eat fatty foods and not gain weight. Number 6, if you died today, what 3 words would you most like to be said about you? Quote, I like her. End quote. In summary, my coat of arms epitomized a girl who loved Disney, experienced major anxiety about perfection, longed for a stage, was fiercely self-conscious about her weight, had a minor Dr. Pepper addiction, and desired for people to like her above all else. At times today, that coat of arms is a clone of what it was decades ago. I find myself battling the same insecurities I did in Miss Smith's class. Fortunately, I have a healthier perspective on life and work that affords me the opportunity to go to Disney World. I didn't always drag around these insecurities. When I was young, self-doubt never occurred to me. I was rarely unsure. I performed for my family, my friends, my dolls, the dog, the horses, whoever was driving the car, patrons in the grocery store, a brick wall, and the imaginary audience in my huge backyard. I spent days making up routines in the swimming pool, on the trampoline, in roller skates, or on the picnic table. It's what I did. It's who I was. Someone should have intervened in the summer of 1980 when I constantly sang the entire soundtracks from Annie, Grease, and The Sound of Music against the balcony in the living room as though I were a miniature Evita. I was obsessed with a little red-headed orphan, an Australian goody two-shoes hopelessly devoted to a T-bird, and solving a problem like Maria. My outbursts of song and dance didn't seem to bother my parents or my sister. Mama and Jamie had been known to join in a time or two. Daddy would emphatically roll his eyes and turn up the volume on the TV. Performing is in my DNA. My extended family embraces the stage because life doesn't make sense without one. My grandmother designs dance costumes for a living. Most of my aunts and cousins have old megaphones in their closets that are frequently utilized. That's why they're in the closet, not the attic. Easy access. Given any one of the Ray women a baton, and she'll immediately launch into a routine from days of yore. Give that same baton to me and I will use it to knock some object off a high shelf. It wasn't until puberty kicked in that I experienced my first bouts of insecurity. I became conscious of my peers watching me and deduced they probably had opinions about what they were seeing. Do they like my dance moves? Do they appreciate my ability to rock a mic like a vandal? Do they think I'm stupid? Are they laughing because of how my cheerleader uniform fits? When did we inaugurate a popular crowd and what does Two-Face mean? Weren't we all friends last week? Overnight, I morphed into an introvert who was often mistaken for an extrovert. If you put me on a track that encircles a football field, I could easily bust out a crowd-pleasing cheer and have a blast doing it. But you wouldn't expect me to make eye contact with you in the hallway because I wouldn't hate to disrupt your between-the-bell rhythm and accidentally make you late for class. The same is true today. If I walk into a party crowd, I find a nice spot near a vertical surface and remain stationary for the duration of the merriment, which, fingers crossed, is hopefully a come-and-go affair. I try to provide amusement to anyone who dares approach the weirdo wallflower. Never presume I freely mingle with the other guests like a civilized human being. I must be physically pulled by the arm toward the person you want to meet. That is, if I haven't already snuck out the